So I'm just here at Air Force Beach today with my mother, and we are talking about goal setting. Okay, so all right. So you asked me just now, how do I do goal setting? Um, so I suppose the way I've always done it is I think I got lucky actually because when I was, I think, 14 years old, I decided I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I watched WWE. Gosh, this was like 2002 now, very long time ago. And so that was my dream. That was my first ever real dream. And I remember I was hanging out in the backyard with my dad and I was talking about it. And he said, well, gee, I mean, if you wanted to be a WWE wrestler, you'd have to start training right now so that you'd be ready later on. And I realized, yeah, actually, you're right. I'm really young, but I'd have to start getting ready. I'd have to train in gymnastics, start getting used to the gym, train in martial arts, whatever it is I need to do to prep my body. I started training in acting as well. But I'd say whatever it is, I've always created a system because that was really how when I first wanted to learn to become a professional wrestler, that was kind of how I learned how to be good at things, you know? So I'll get you in the shot too. There, now we're the same height. That was how I learned how to be good at things. And it was always by creating a system, because systems are what create success. People can be bad at things. I mean, some people think that talent is what creates success. It is absolutely not. It helps a lot. And I think that when you combine talent with purpose and systems, oh man, that's when you become a CEO. That's when you become something very highly successful, whatever it may be. So the first thing I do is, like what Arnold Schwarzenegger says, have a vision. Get that goal in mind and have a vision of what it is you want to succeed at. And keep reminding yourself of what that vision is. Keep reminding yourself of those goals. Chris Jericho once said, keep reminding yourself of your goals to stay motivated. Yeah, he said that. I said that in an interview one day. Once you first thing you want to do, get the image of what it is you want. After that, decide on the system, a reasonable system that isn't going to burn you out. And then you create a system that's going to move you towards that goal. And then don't stop. Keep going in that direction. A bit of advice for that would be, realize that you're going to be bad at it, actually. Like, so many things I've done, I was terrible at them when I first started. There's a funny thing, there's a paradox of confidence, actually. I don't remember if it's actually called the paradox of confidence, but it kind of, if you're looking at a graph, the vertical line being your experience level and then time spent doing said activity. Ironically, your confidence is going to be much higher when you start, and then the more you learn, your confidence starts to drop drastically because you start to realize, oh, I actually don't know how to do this, and I'm actually quite bad at it. And then after more time, it starts to level out and rise again, but ironically, it never goes back to the height it was when you started because you start to realize how much you don't know, right? The more you start to learn, the more you realize, oh my God, I actually don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Okay, so talking about wrestling,
Yeah.
why don't you tell them how you came up with your name?
What, Fire Wasp?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I totally swiped that from Warhammer 40K. I'm a nerd, now you know. So there are these Space Marine chapters, which is one of the factions in Warhammer 40K, and I happened to spot it one day, and they were called the Fire Wasps. And I really liked them, so I painted them and I made a bunch of figures. Liked the name, and so that was my wrestling character. I did a lot of face paint because I actually love face paint. Fun fact about me, if face paint was considered socially acceptable, I would have face paint every day. I'm serious. I like it. I see it as highly creative. I love it. It expresses who I am way more than just wearing sunglasses. That's probably one of the reasons why I dress in things like tie-dye. I'm very colorful. I love colors. I love art. I love looking up at the airplanes as they fly by. Anyway, where was I about? Good question about the wrestling. And yes, I would eventually get into wrestling, but the whole point of the start was that wrestling was how I learned how to be good at things. So you're going to be bad at things when you first start, but that's okay. It changes. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it just takes a lot of patience. Like when I first got into martial arts, I was very bad at it. And I started teaching not long after that because my instructor just needed an instructor. But it took me 4 years just to get good at it. Not great, just, okay, I'm not bad at this anymore. It took 4 freaking years just to get good. And sometimes that's how it will be when you're developing a new skill, a new business, a new something. There's going to be a lot of trials and issues, but that's okay. That's normal. It doesn't mean that you're no good at it. It means that failure is the road to success, and you hit a failure and then you fix it and get around it, and then you hit the next one and keep moving forwards. So you getting your goal, getting your system, which is really important, devoting to that system and just slowly investing time in it, because you slowly develop your skills forward as well, right? Like the book Atomic Habits talks about it. You get 1% better each day. You're going to be 300% better at the end of the year, theoretically. Probably not mathematically accurate, but you know what I mean. No matter what you're doing, if you set a goal and you keep doing it, you're just going to get better at it. Hang in there during the moments when you feel like you're not doing well. It's just all part of the skill building. And keep going.
And join other people who have the same goal as you do. Like when you went wrestling, you found a wrestling group, and they welcomed you in.
Yeah, 365 Pro Wrestling. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's where you're going to make like-minded friends too. I think the best goals you can set for yourself too are the ones that are purpose driven. If you can find, if it's one thing if you can push yourself to do well at something, but it's a whole other if you feel like you're being pulled by something. And very often, I don't know, if I was to take a guess and really round it down, I'd say it's whatever ways that you have suffered in life, if you can take that and utilize it to help others who have suffered in the same way, that to me, I think, is a good purpose.
Yeah, because there were a lot of, even after Jonathan joined the wrestling group, there were tons of newcomers who also wanted to be in wrestling. Some of them really weren't old enough, but they still wanted to get involved in it. And nobody ever gets kicked out.
No, I mean, if you're with the right group, there's always something that you can give. And a lot of those same guys, a lot of them didn't turn into amazing wrestlers, but a lot of them also turned into fantastic referees or promoters or managers or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different roles that you can take within a wrestling world. And lots of wrestlers, when they get too old to keep doing it because it's hard on the body, well, they don't retire. They become instructors, and then they teach the next generation. There's always a life to be lived within what you do too. Yeah, maybe being flexible too is also part of success. Is you may have an image and a goal in your mind, but don't be so rigid that you stop yourself from falling into a slot that exists for you, if you know what I mean. Like with me in acting, the verticals is what I dub them. I'm not going to get into it, but there's a group of people who make films called the Verticals, and I'm very successful with those.
Yeah.
But I'm not so successful with commercials. But that's okay, because we all have a different spot and a different slot that we fall into. Could also be I could book a bunch of commercials, call me a liar. You never know. But if I just said, no, that's not my vision, being in verticals is not my vision, well, then I would just be costing myself, great experiences and great opportunities. So you may have a goal in mind, but then when you get on the path, the path might divert in another slightly different direction that is successful, but it might not match quite what you imagined. The same philosophy applies to love and relationships. I mean, the person that you're dating might not actually fit the original image of what you imagined would be your perfect partner, but they don't have to fit the original image. You can be flexible and still accept them for who they are. A neat story I had about that was this one woman in a book I read called If Buddha Had Dated, and this woman was very, demure, very quiet, But she had a date one day with a guy who was a motorcyclist, and she was really shocked by that because she was like, motorcycles? Like she despised motorcycles, but she enjoyed the guy so much that she just remained open to it. Eventually went for a ride one day and said, I can't believe I'm doing this. But eventually they fell in love and even developed they planned a trip across the country on a motorcycle. So, but if she had remained so rigid in her image of, no, I'm not going to date a guy who's got a motorcycle, well, then she would have cost herself, the love of her life just because it didn't fit the original image. So going back to goal setting and all that, yeah, being flexible, looking for purpose, having an image, and creating a system. I think just creating the system is always going to be the number one. Enjoy the journey. Try and enjoy the journey. If you're not enjoying the journey after you get into it, if you go pro on something and you're really not enjoying the journey, well, then maybe that's just a sign that you secretly didn't want to do it to begin with. If you quit a goal and you find more relief with it being gone, then maybe it wasn't meant for you.
You need a new goal.
You need a new goal. Yeah, exactly. Again, maybe that's the rigid image in your head. Yeah, and start with that. If there's any things that you think maybe I missed, or if there's any more bits of advice that you've experienced that you know, this is about information collecting and sharing. So share it below if in the comments if there's something you think maybe I missed. What about you, Mom?
I still have a lot of goals, even at my age.
Yeah.
I love when you come home. I get to cook. That's my kitchen. And I'm a feeder, so I like cooking too. I like learning about foods and cooking.
I'd love you to take 2 seconds and share with whoever's watching. Like I was talking about taking the things the struggles that one has experienced in life and turning them into your purpose. So I feel like one of your purposes and things that gives you a lot of purpose is feeding people. Yeah, you're a total foodie. And is feeding people and watching people eat. So I don't know, did you feel like sharing a little bit of that?
You have to get to know yourself well enough to decide where you feel comfortable. You're not going to just walk along and say, oh, I'm not comfortable with anything. There are things that give you a great deal of comfort and happiness. Even if it's just, I gotta sleep in the morning. Do it. You'll have a lot more energy. You're important. You need to feed yourself. Now, that just comes from, I saw too many kids growing up without enough nourishment, and I had to feed them. And so that's basically what I did. I would go to school and give my lunch away. But it was to kids who didn't have a lunch. I would go home and make something for the rest of my sisters and brothers. You have to find out what gives you comfort, even if it sounds like work. It doesn't matter. If it gives you a sense of purpose, if it gives you a great deal of pleasure, then that's what you were meant to do. You're meant to do something special here. It's to be you. It's to be yourself, to treat yourself well, feed yourself well, make sure you're not harming yourself in any way. You're important. You're not only important to God and the other side, you're important to us. You are part of the civilization of this earth, and this earth needs you. It needs you just the way you are. So if you go out and plant a tree, that's something, that's a tree. It's going to grow and you can watch it. I'm just trying to say, you're a very important person. And we all know it. And we want you to be happy. We're very happy.
Yeah.
And we weren't always, and we're not always. If I burn a souffle, I'm not happy. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe someday we'll meet. And you can tell me all about yourself, and I will listen to every word, because you are important.
Nice, Mom.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, I hope that, some excellent words of motivation. Maybe that, you know what, I think you touched on a couple important things there. You touched on like you just said, you had a lot of experiences when you were younger. I think it's safe to say you kind of grew up in poverty, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So you had to protect your siblings to make sure they were fed as you were growing up, and that was tough.
I was
But
the oldest.
yeah, so that kind of that was your struggle when you were younger, and then that became your joy and purpose now.
Yeah.
But also the importance of finding your purpose, and also the importance of finding or creating a goal for yourself, because yeah, you're right, you do. Everybody out there has something to offer.
Yeah.
Everyone else out
Yeah.
there has something that you can do that I can't, or something that you can't, and it's important for the human race and for everybody that everyone sets goals.
And everyone needs something or someone. And something you always need food, you always need a roof over your head, and you always need a friend. You always need somebody to go to and talk to. And most people do have that. But if you don't have that, it's not hard to find somebody, honestly.
Yeah, you can. You set the intention, you put it out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Join a bowling league. Even as a
whatever it may
single
be.
person, there's so many people on bowling leagues who need an extra person all the time.
Join a bowl. There you go. So if you take nothing from this video, you should join a bowling league. Well, anyway.
They'll talk to you.
Yeah.
They need you there.
Well, I don't socialize enough. So again, back to systems. I got to create better systems for being more social. But anyway, I think that sort of about wraps it up for now. That's my opinion on what one can do to set good goals and to get momentum going in whatever direction you want to go in life. I'll leave you with one more note as well. I firmly believe that you cannot stop human beings from doing what they want to do. When a human being says, I want to do something, good luck stopping them. They're going to find a way. So also having a healthy belief in yourself, and just knowing that when you truly decide you want something, nothing's going to be able to stop you. So yeah, remember your own power on that one too. Thank you so much, Mum, for sharing your experience. And
You're very welcome.
I'll end off on a nice little shot on Air Force Beach. Beautiful place. Okay, see ya.